All right, let's dive into something pretty mind-blowing today. We're talking about a new AI called Dr. Zero. And the wild part? It teaches itself to become an expert with literally zero human training data.
So let's start with the big question, right? The one that pretty much everyone in AI is trying to answer. How do you actually make an AI model smarter? How do you make it, better? And for years, the answer has been simple, almost brutally simple. You just drown it in data. We're talking oceans of the stuff, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, all of it carefully curated by humans. I mean, that's been the secret sauce for the entire AI boom.
Okay, but what if that entire playbook is not the only way? What if an AI could get smarter all on its own, without a single piece of that human-made data? To really get why this zero data thing is such a game changer, we first have to talk about AI's biggest problem. Its crazy, insatiable hunger for data. I mean, really think about it. Every single big name AI you can think of was spoon-fed a mountain of data that humans had to sort through and label. And that process, it's not just slow, it is unbelievably expensive. This data dependency is like a giant wall. It stops a lot of people from building powerful AI, and it's a total dead end for research in areas where you just don't have a lot of data. Like for super rare diseases or really specific scientific fields.
So let's introduce the star of our show. This little guy is a base AI model. It's got the raw potential, but right now it's staring up at that huge data wall we just talked about. The big question is, how on earth is it supposed to level up?
Well, the answer comes from a totally new approach called the Dr. Zero framework. And the core idea is, well, it's pretty wild. It's an AI that literally teaches itself. The official term for this is data-free self-evolution. And believe me, it is a true paradigm shift. Think of it like this. Instead of waiting for a teacher to give it homework, the AI writes its own pop quizzes, tries to solve them, and then grades its own work. It's basically building its own personal, ever-changing school from scratch. But here's the really clever part. It's not just one AI talking to itself in a room. The Dr. Zero system is more like a partnership. It's two AIs working together, where one takes on the role of the teacher and the other becomes the student. They basically evolve together.
So let's look at this teacher-student dynamic, because this is really where the magic happens. The researchers call them the proposer and the solver.
Okay, so the proposer, that's our teacher. Its whole purpose in life is to invent new, tricky questions, or quests, to stump its partner. And the solver, that's our student. It takes those quests and has to figure out how to answer them, usually by using a tool like a search engine. And here's the cool part. As the student gets better, the teacher is forced to come up with even harder problems. It's this constant back and forth that pushes them both to get smarter. And what's so cool about this is that the teacher and the student, they're not two totally separate AIs. Nope. They actually start out as identical twins, exact copies of the very same base model. They only grow into their different roles as they start training each other. So, how does this all work in practice? Well, it's all about a really elegant and powerful feedback loop. Okay, here's how it goes down. Step 1, the teacher, the proposer, dreams up a new, tough question. Step 2, the student, the solver, goes off and tries to find the answer. Now, step 3 is crucial. Depending on whether the student succeeds or fails, the system generates what's called a reward signal. This is the feedback. The teacher learns if its question was maybe too easy or way too hard, and the student learns from its own success or failure. And finally, step 4, both of them use that feedback to level up. Then the whole cycle starts over, but this time they're both a little bit better.
Now, you're probably thinking, man, that sounds like it would take a ton of computer power, and you wouldn't be wrong. But the researchers came up with a super smart shortcut. It's called HRPO. The analogy here is perfect. Imagine a teacher grading homework. Instead of going through every single answer one by one, which takes forever, they group similar problems together. Grade all the addition problems at once, then all the multiplication problems. This clustering makes the feedback process way faster and slashes the computing power needed. Okay, so the theory is awesome. A self-teaching AI, a super efficient training loop. But the real question is, does it actually work? Let's see how this self-taught agent did when it went head-to-head with the old guard. So, the researchers threw a bunch of really hard tests at Dr. Zero. The moment of truth. Did it actually work? Oh, it worked. It worked better than anyone could have guessed. Check this out. On a standard test called Natural Questions, the regular AI that was trained on human data scored around 0.327.
Dr. Zero, the one that taught itself, scored 0.397. It didn't just keep up, it blew the competition out of the water. And I have to say it again, it did this with zero human training data. That's just incredible.
And, you don't have to take my word for it. The researchers themselves summed it up perfectly. They said their work proves that complex skills like reasoning and search, they can just emerge on their own purely through this self-evolution process. And there you have it. Our little base model has completed its transformation. It went from a blank slate to a seriously powerful agent ready for anything, and it did it all on its own. Okay, so let's step back for a second. What does a breakthrough like this actually mean for the future of AI? All right, let's wrap up with the big takeaways here. First, and this is the big one, we now know that AIs can reach elite levels of performance without human training data. That's huge. Second, this whole teacher-student or proposer-solver idea is a seriously powerful engine for building systems that get better on their own. And finally, this completely upends the old more data is always better philosophy. It cracks open a whole new door for AI research. And that really leaves us with a mind-bending question to chew on. For so long, an AI's potential was basically defined by the data we gave it. But if an AI can now write its own textbook, its own curriculum, one that's perfectly customized to its own needs at every single moment, well, what are the limits then? What can't it learn?